Welcome to Emotions and Stories. There are certain battles that we fight on a daily basis, and more often than not, we end up losing them. Our today's story is about one such incident. So let's begin today's story. Payal's battle with. Payal Iyer was a perfectly average 12-year-old, except for one minor problem. Time hated her, or at least that's what she was convinced of. Every single day, time either ran away from her or ganged up against her. No matter how much she tried, she was always late, always rushing, and always scrambling to finish things at the last second. Her parents called it poor time management. Payal called it a personal attack. One Monday morning, Payal had precisely 12 minutes to get dressed, brush her teeth, and grab her homework, eat breakfast, and get out the door. What actually happened was she put on her t shirt inside out, she brushed her teeth with her dad's shaving cream, which tasted like despair. She forgot her homework. Instead, she grabbed her elder sister's diary with dried flowers inside it, mistaking it for her notebook. It wasn't until she confidently plopped the diary onto Mr. Krishnan's desk that she realized her error. Payal, he said, holding up the diary full of dried flowers. This is not history assignment. Are you sure? It's kind of old stuff. Mr. Krishnan wasn't amused. By the time Mr. Krishnan finished his lecture on how she should be careful and attentive, she was already late for her next class and all her classmates had already left. Instead of rushing for her next class, she took her time packing her bag and leaving. That meant being late for the games class, and by the time she reached the playground, the exercise was already over. But because she was late, she had to spend the entire time just running instead of getting to play. By lunchtime, she was tired and realized during her running she dropped her lunch money. That night, after enduring yet another "you need to be more responsible" lecture from her mother, Payal decided enough was enough. She was going to defeat time even if it was the last thing she did. Payal pulled out a notebook and wrote 6:30 wake up, 6:35 get dressed, 6:45 breakfast, 7:05 brush your teeth, 7:10 leave the house. She felt proud. This was foolproof. She put the schedule on her bedside table, set the alarm, and drifted off to sleep, dreaming of a future where she was punctual and a responsible human being. At 6:30 a.m. sharp, her alarm blared. Determined, Pyle reached for her schedule and accidentally knocked the glass of water on her sister's diary. Her sister, who had just woken up, was furious as the spill smudged the ink on the pages. By the time she escaped her sister shouting, it was 6:45. Okay, just a minor setback, Payal muttered to herself. She threw on clothes and rushed to breakfast. Her brother had taken the last idli, leaving her with a cold, unbuttered piece of toast. She chewed sadly, watching the clock move faster than seemed humanly possible. By the time she left the house, she had successfully followed 0% of her schedule and was late again. Payal sought out her best friend Kirti, the human embodiment of a planner. Kirti had color coded schedules, reminder apps, and an alarming number of sticky notes. Kirti took one look at Payal's disaster of a day and sighed. You need timers. Timers? Payal asked. Yes. If you have 5 minutes to brush your teeth, set a 5-minute timer. If you have 10 minutes for breakfast, set a 10-minute timer. That way you will stay on track. Payal wasn't convinced, but Desperate times called for desperate solutions. The next morning, she set timers for everything. Did it work? Well, kind of. She managed to wake up on time but got so distracted setting her get dressed timer, and her sister finally had found out about the diary incident. Then, when her breakfast timer went off, she panicked and ate her cereal too fast and sneezed milk out of her nose. Her mom looked out in horror. Payal, are you okay? I am learning, Payal declared dramatically, still holding her nose. Over the next week, Payal improved. She wasn't perfect. There was a few unfortunate incidents where a rogue alarm went off during the class, making everyone think it was a fire drill and disrupting the whole class. Payal still thought she had cracked the code of managing time, but time, as it turned out, was a trickster, an undefeated champion, a villain with unlimited supply of plot twists. Her plans kept on getting derailed, even though they were flawless with multiple alarms, strategically placed sticky notes, even a no distraction dance she performed before starting any task. She was ready, and yet time had other ideas. Her alarm clock betrayed her by ringing at half its usual volume. Her school uniform played hide and seek. Her toothpaste tube went missing only to be found in the refrigerator later. No matter what she did, something always found a way to slow her down. Her greatest victory came when she left the house feeling victorious until she realized she was still wearing her pajamas. She tried everything, skipping unnecessary steps. Turns out socks are necessary. Eating breakfast while running, well, not a good idea. Even bribing time with an extra 5-minute nap in the afternoon. Despite her best efforts, time still had tricks up its sleeves. One morning, she found herself triumphantly leaving the house early, only to realize she was wearing the wrong shoes. Another day, she made it to school on time but left her homework on the dining table. It seemed that for every step forward, time found a way to pull her 2 steps back. Some days, she almost had it all figured out. Other days, she found herself sprinting across the schoolyard, back swinging wildly as the bell rang in mockery. Time, she realized, was not something to be conquered. It was an endless battle, and time seemed determined to remain undefeated in an eternal game of wits. One day, Mr. Krishnan watched as Payal slid into her chair, slightly out of breath, only 2 minutes late. Let me guess, time got the better of you again? Asked Mr. Krishnan. Nope, she said, attempting to sound confident. I may have lost the battle, but the war is far from over. Mr. Krishnan chuckled. Let's see if you can solve the pop quiz on time, considering you're already late. Payal sighed. Time was relentless, but so was she. The battle continued. I hope you enjoyed today's story, and if you have something to share about your time management, do tell us in the comments below. Thank you.